Hello, my name is Kurt, and in step 4, we're going to install a third-party load balancer called MetalLB. So in step 3, we installed the K3s cluster with the default load balancer called Service LB. But now we want to replace that with a better load balancer that's called MetalLB. Now to do that, you can take your original cluster and you can disable it without uninstalling your K3s, your Kubernetes clusters and all that, and starting over again. But I like doing stuff the hard way. So what I did is I basically wiped out my Kubernetes clustered, and now we're starting from scratch. So here you can see is my control plane, or the master, or the control, whatever you want to call them. So what we're going to do is we have to install Kubernetes again, but this time we have to disable Service LB so we can install MetalLB, and they two won't conflict. Now, if you go to the description below, you'll see a link to all the commands and explanations, the difference between what a Service LB is and what MetalLB is. And real quickly, MetalLB is better because it allows you to assign individual IP address for each application you install in your cluster. For example, Apache web server and NGX web server. You want to install those on your Kubernetes, and you install them, but you have Service LB installed. Service LB won't allow you to use one address, and then you're going to have to mess around with the ports to get them to work. But with MetalLB installed, your Apache web server can have its own IP address and use port 80, and the NGX web server can have its own IP address and use port 80. That way it won't conflict. You don't have to worry about moving ports around. So it makes installing other applications much easier because it supplies its own IP address for each application. So you're going to need to have some IPs available that you can put into a pool for MetalLB to hand out. So first thing is we want to reinstall our KF3 cluster. And now the command, again, just go down the link below, the description below, and you'll have a link to get all these commands. You see I'm going to disable traffic. I'm going to install that back in after I install install MetalLB. And here you can see I'm disabling default load balancer service. So I'm going to hit return. Let's see what happens. All right. I'm only going to install this, and then I'll cut away and I'll install my other two nodes and then come back. That way you don't have to see me doing all this here. But in the beginning here, we'll just go ahead and do this. You can watch me do this and bore you with it. All right, so I'll be right back because I ain't gonna install now my nodes and all that stuff. And once I get the cluster all up and working with each other, I'll come back and then we'll start installing MetalLB. All right, so I got everything installed. We can do that by checking this out. You can see I have my two worker nodes and my control all set up and ready. Now we can confirm if Service LB is not running at all. That's done by running this command here, and it will return nothing. So we know we're good here because it returned nothing. We have our worker nodes all set up and we're ready to go. So the first thing is here, we want to, hopefully we'll see that Helm's installed. Might have to install that. So let's just find out here in a second. Oh, it is. All right. Oh. I don't want to run two commands at once, but you can if you want to. Yeah. Helm is not installed. So we can go back to my step 3. And in step 3, you'll see how to install Helm and all that stuff here. We need to install Helm. All right. So now we have Helm installed. Now we can rerun that command. Oh, I just had to do the up arrow key, but update everything. Okay. Now we're going to create the namespace. Okay. There, it's all created. Right now we're going to check if the pods are running, which they are, because you want to see running. And you see, all running. Can you feel the excitement? I know I sure can. All right, so after that's done, we need to configure our .yaml file, or yaml, whatever hell you want to call it, right? So I'm going to call it MetalLB-config.yml. And again, you go to the description below, there'll be a link to see the file I am doing. So what we always like to do is, I can't remember if I made, yes I did, excellent. All right, so I like putting all my, I guess, config files in the .cube file. Makes it easier to find stuff. I'm going to use VI, create my MetalLB config file. Not good. See the colon in the back there? That'd not be good. All right, so now put in the great Scott Lowe of text here. All right, let's go through this. So mandatory. Well, this can be a different name if you want to. Mandatory. And now this is the pool. All right, so you're going to change this to whatever IP address that you want. In my case, I'm going to pool from 20 to 29. Now, also down here, I gave it a single IP because I'm going to be installing AdGar DNS, AdGar home DNS thingy later on, like step 30 or step 6, one of the steps. I'll be installing that. So I'll give you something to look forward to. And like I said, this will be on that site, in the link in the description below. There'll be a link so you can grab that crap and cut and paste it and do whatever you want to do with it. Now we're going to save it. And look at that. So now we have it saved. Now the next thing is, we're not going to do diddly squat because we need to apply it. Again, you'll be using this command a lot. And look, it created the stuff. Now let's verify some things. So see that? We have our single. All right, for the AdGar. So you know this, see, I named it AdGar. We look at my thing here. We do a cat. What the flying? All right. All right, we named it that pool AdGar. Okay. Then we go over here and we see a general pool, which is named it right here. And you see it consists of these IP addresses. Now, I'm going to give you a little beware thing here. When you install your first application, it's going to automatically assign this single one. But we can easily, there's a command you can just, after you install your application or grabs the .53, there's a command that'll force it to pick up one of the IP addresses that are available in between here. So these IPs, of course, can't be part of your DHCP or used by something else. So make sure you have a free set of IPs so you can use to apply to all the other configuration or applications that you can install on your Kubernetes cluster. So now let's, so that's the pools, right? What did we do here? All right, so that's the pools. Now we can check the layer 2 crap. See what happens here. And yeah, there we go. We got the 2 pools, layer 2. So now we're doing good here. Now let's test the bloody thing. Okay? We're going to create a fake service. Not a problem here. So we're going to create something. I got to copy the commands. I'm piss poor at doing this crap. All right, so we're going to create this stupid thing called web test. All right. And now we're going to assign something to the load balancer. All right, see, it's exposed. It exposed itself. Look at that, man. Now we got to check the service and see if it's running. And I bet you it's going to pull. It's going to pull .53. All right, let's see. Oh, look at that. It did pull .53. But I'm going to leave it at .53 because we're just looking to see whether the bloody service is working. Which it is, right there in front of you. Look, there's evidence, dude. No fake something here. So now we want to delete this crap, which is, well, we just switch some words around and put delete. Well, we'll delete them both anyway. There we go. Now we're going to both delete. Get rid of, and now we test. and it's gone. So therefore, you just have successfully installed Metal Load Balancer or MetalLB. Now, that concludes this portion of this video where we installed MetalLB. Step 3, I just installed the K3 clusters, went through the motions and all that stuff, and just to show you how to install it. Now we're going to start to build out my cluster here. First, we reinstalled it because I like doing stuff the hard way. And we removed Service LB, the default load balancer, and put in MetalLB, a much better load balancer that we can use to install our apps. So then in the next video, we were going to reinstall Traffic, and then after that, we'll go ahead and install AdGar. And then we'll install a couple more applications after that. So I hope you learned something today. Don't forget to go in the description below. There's a link or something down there to help you with these commands. And you guys have yourself a very healthy and happy day. Until the next video.